Every morning for 8 years, William Archer walked the same route around Metropolitan First Bank. He checked corners, tested locks, and studied angles. Bank employees thought he was just thorough. They were wrong. William wasn't checking security. He was memorizing kill zones, escape routes, and tactical positions. Because when Royal Marine Commando training runs in your blood, you don't see a workplace, you see a battlefield. And at 2:47 p.m., that battlefield came alive. Welcome to Hidden Legends. Before diving into this forgotten hero story, tell me in the comments which city you're watching from today. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because William Archer's story proves the most ordinary looking people often have the most extraordinary backgrounds. William Archer was just a security guard in everyone's eyes. 52 years old, quiet, reliable, never complained. He'd worked at Metropolitan First Bank for 8 years. Every morning at 7:30, he'd arrive, put on his uniform, check his radio, and take his position in the lobby. Every minute of his routine was planned. He was courteous to customers, helped staff, and solved problems quietly. Employees called him Silent William. In 8 years, no one had a long conversation with him. Good morning. Have a good day. Thank you. That was it. Nobody was curious for more. Customers barely noticed him. He'd stand in the lobby, politely greet them, open doors, give directions. He was the invisible man, the ideal security guard. Quiet, trouble-free, unnoticeable. But if someone had really observed William, they might have noticed odd details. How he checked corners, how his eyes were always moving, how he scanned every new customer, how his hands stayed relaxed but ready. And most importantly, that morning routine. Every day the same route. Main entrance, vault area, manager's office, exit doors, windows, cameras 15 minutes, an unchanging pattern. Nobody knew this route was planned with military precision. Nobody knew William was drawing a mental map of kill zones, choke points, and tactical advantages. Because William Archer wasn't just a security guard. The 15th of October, Tuesday, 2:30 p.m., William was working his normal afternoon shift. It was a busy day, customers coming and going, phones ringing, staff rushing around. On days like this, William was most valuable, calm, controlled, everyone's reassuring presence. At 2:40 p.m., he counted 23 customers in the lobby. An elderly couple handled account business. A young mother waited with her child. A businessman talked on his phone. A normal Tuesday afternoon. At 2:45 p.m., William's eye caught a black SUV outside, parked with the engine running. 3 people inside, nobody getting out. Something from military training. Notice every abnormal situation. William checked his radio. Base, lobby, security, suspicious vehicle outside, reporting. Copy, William. Maintain observation. At 2:46 p.m., the SUV doors opened. 3 men stepped out suited, serious, carrying briefcases. They walked toward the bank. William's pulse quickened, but his face showed nothing. The moment he'd been waiting for 20 years, was coming. William observed the 3 men, their movement patterns, body language, hand positions. They were professionals, not ordinary bank robbers. Man 1, the leader, short, cold eyes, heavy briefcase, weapon inside. Man 2, the muscle, big, analyzing security threats. Man 3, tech specialist, young, carrying electronic equipment. A coordinated operation, possibly an inside job or federal heist. William ran a mental checklist. Customer count, 23. Staff count, 12. Exit routes, 3 main door, back door, emergency exit, weapon position, behind belt. Standard procedure, back up 8 to 10 minutes away. Royal Marine Commando training kicked in. William was no longer a security guard. He was a hostage rescue specialist. The 3 men entered the bank. Good afternoon, the leader said, approaching the counter. We'd like to make a transaction. William watched from the lobby. He did nothing. Not yet. Because the first rule he learned in Royal Marine Commando training was observe, assess, wait for the right moment. That moment was close. When the leader reached the counter, he opened his briefcase. Out came not money, but a Glock 19, professional grade. Nobody move. His voice filled the lobby. This is a robbery. The second and third men drew weapons too. Customers screamed. Staff hit the floor in panic. William stayed by the wall, quiet, observing. But he was no longer security guard William. He was Sergeant First Class William Archer, Royal Marine Commando, Hostage Rescue Specialist Afghanistan, Iraq, Syria, 47 successful rescue operations. He'd lived this scenario hundreds of times. "Everyone down," the leader shouted. "Hands visible." The second man moved toward the vault. The third began disabling security cameras. A professional operation, perfect timing, inside knowledge. But they hadn't calculated one thing. William Archer had been waiting for this moment for 20 years, and Royal Marine training never fades. William was calm. 23 hostages, 3 armed hostiles, multiple exit points. He'd faced worse in Afghanistan. "Sir," the second man called to William. "You get down too." William slowly raised his head. His eyes met the leader's. In that moment, the leader saw something. No fear, no panic, only combat experience. "Who are you?" the leader asked. William didn't answer but shifted his position tactical, wall to his back. All 3 hostiles in sight, clear line of fire. "I asked, who are you?" William spoke, but his voice was no longer the quiet security guards. It was command, authority, steel. "I am the protector of this bank, and I'm giving you a final warning. Drop your weapons. Hands up. Get on the ground." The 3 men exchanged glances. What was this security guard saying? "Or what, old man?" the second man mocked. William smiled the same smile terrorists in Kandahar had seen. "Or I'll show you how I rescued 47 people from terrorists 20 years ago." The leader wasn't laughing anymore. Something in this man's eyes unnerved him. "Who do you think you are?" William turned on his radio, not the hospital intercom, but the bank's PA system. "I am Sergeant First Class William Archer, Royal Marine Commando. 3 tours Afghanistan, 2 tours Iraq, 1 tour Syria, 47 successful hostage rescue operations." His voice echoed through the bank. "There are 35 innocent people in this bank, and I promise you," he adjusted his tactical vest, always worn under his uniform, "you will not harm these people until I die." The leader aimed his weapon at William. "Then die, old hero." William shook his head. They said the same thing in Kandahar. The next 4 minutes of fighting in the Metropolitan First Bank lobby would be recorded in Royal Marine history as Victoria Cross-level heroism. The first move was William's one. The man who seemed a 20-year security guard transformed into a Royal Marine Commando operative. As the leader pulled the trigger, William dove right, taking cover behind the reception desk. The bullet passed over his head. "Tango 1, East position," he shouted into his radio, as if a backup team was with him. The robbers were startled. This security guard used military jargon. William made his second tactical move. Using the heavy marble table in the lobby as cover, he began a strategic advance toward the 3 men. Over the PA system, he gave instructions. "All personnel, lock down protocol. Secure positions. Stay low." The second man opened fire. Bullets hit the marble, ricocheted. William feigned pushing the table, then made a sudden combat roll to the left, landing behind the ATM booth. A tactic from Kandahar. Divide and conquer. Tango 2, north flank. Tango 3, secure south. He shouted into his radio. The third man turned south in panic, thinking backup was coming. William seized the moment. He sprinted at the third man from 15 meters away. Even at 52, his body was still that of a Royal Marine Commando operative. Combat training never faded. He disarmed the third man with a pressure point strike to the neck. Weapon secured. The leader and second man tried to shoot William, but civilian hostages were in the line of fire. William used the third man as a human shield, making a tactical retreat toward the vault area. Tango 3 neutralized. "Need immediate backup," he shouted into his radio. The leader and second man thought William had federal support. "Boss, we should retreat," the second man whispered. "No, this is just an old security guard." But William was no longer a security guard. He was Royal Marine Commando Sergeant Archer, conducting a hostage rescue operation. Reaching the vault area, William made his final tactical maneuver. He hit the emergency lockdown button, sealing all bank doors. "All hostiles, this is your final warning. Drop weapons. Hands visible. Assume prone position." Then to the 35 hostages. "Citizens, remain calm. Federal backup en route. You're under Royal Marine protection now." There was no retreat option like in Kandahar. Anyone wanting to pass through this lobby or vault would have to neutralize him first. Last chance, William called to the leader, and second man with command voice. Surrender now. My 5, 2 minutes out. The leader was furious. You only neutralized one person. There are still 2 of us. William pulled his Royal Marine Commando pin from his uniform, pinning it to his chest. There were 12 of them in Kandahar. I neutralized them all. The leader and second man launched their final assault, charging William with suppressive fire. William used the vault door as cover, shielding himself. 2 bullets hit his shoulder. Despite the pain, he'd taken worse in Kandahar. Final tactical engagement. Even wounded, William delivered a takedown kick to the leader's leg, throwing him off balance. He grappled to disarm the second man's weapon. The struggle unfolded in the lobby center, a bleeding Royal Marine against 2 professional bank robbers. Then, the bank's main door exploded. MI5 HRT hostage rescue team breached. Federal agents dropped weapons now. The leader and second man surrendered. William collapsed, blood pooling, but 35 hostages were alive. Status report? The MI5 team leader asked. William responded with military precision. 35 hostages secured. 3 hostiles, 2 neutralized, 1 KIA, bank vault protected. Mission accomplished. The MI5 team leader studied William. Who was this security guard? Identity confirmation. William glanced at his Royal Marine Commando pin, blood flowing from his chest. Sergeant First Class William Archer, Royal Marine Commando, Hostage Rescue Specialist. Archer? Are you Kandahar Archer? Yes, sir. Mission complete. The MI5 team arrived 10 minutes later when it was all over. Status report, MI5 team leader Agent Elizabeth Harper asked. 3 suspects neutralized. 35 hostages safe. Bank vault protected, William reported calmly. Agent Harper stared. This security guard used military terminology, delivering a professional debrief. Identity confirmation. Before William could respond, bank personnel rushed over branch manager Thomas, teller Sophie, customer service rep James. William, what happened? Was that you on the PA system? The bank manager gaped at his colleague. William, how did you? Agent Harper radioed. William Archer background check. Immediate. 2 minutes later, the response came. Royal Marine Commando operative. Kandahar hostage rescue 2004. Operation Desert Shield. 47 civilian lives saved under heavy fire. Silence fell. Bank personnel stared at William, realizing the man they'd worked with for 8 years was a Royal Marine. William, Sophie whispered breathless. Are you a Royal Marine? William smiled modestly. I used to be. Now I'm just a security guard. Branch manager Thomas stepped forward. William, you've worked here 8 years. Why didn't you tell us? Because the past is the past. I just want to protect people. But a Royal Marine. Sophie was still in shock. William shrugged. I once did hostage rescue. Today I did it again. Nothing's changed. Agent Harper, preparing the official report, asked, Mr. Archer, why conceal your military background? I didn't conceal it, nobody asked. Customer service rep James chimed in. But William, you're a hero. Why didn't you tell anyone? William looked at the lobby customers, safe, staff working, life continuing, because real heroes work every day quietly. A medal is for one day, but service is every day. The story spread fast. Bank security guard's 8-year Royal Marine secret. But William gave no interviews, avoided television. The next day, he returned to work, wore his uniform, resumed his routine. Bank management tried to hold a ceremony. William declined politely. I was honored in 2004. Now I just want to work. But the staff saw him differently. He wasn't just a security guard, he was a living legend. Sophie asked, What else don't I know? William smiled. In 8 years, you've learned all you need. I'm still the same William. But a Royal Marine, a medal, what matters is what you do today. William Archer still works at Metropolitan First Bank, same position, same duties, same humble service. But now when he walks the lobby, people look at him with respect, gratitude, pride. William dislikes it. I'm the same person, he says. I'm just doing my job. The robbers were convicted, federal charges, life sentences, justice served. William's comment? Good. Bank security was maintained. Management hung a plaque in his honor. William Archer, Royal Marine Hero, Bank Protector. William didn't want it, but the bank insisted for future generations to know. Young security guards now learn from William. How do you stay so calm, William? Practice. 20 years of practice. I'm not talking about Royal Marine. Neither am I. If you want to be a security guard, learn to be a security guard. William Archer's story teaches us this. Real heroes don't chase titles, media, or praise. They work every day, quietly, humbly. William hid his Royal Marine pass for 8 years because medals belong to the past. Service belongs to today. Sometimes, the most ordinary-looking people have the most extraordinary backgrounds. Your bank security guard might be a national hero. Your janitor might be a war veteran. Your security guard might have saved lives. Show them respect, because real heroes live among us, working, serving. At Hidden Legends, we tell these stories because forgotten heroes deserve to be remembered. Tell us in the comments, which city are you watching from? Have you ever learned someone you knew had a surprising background? If William's story moved you, like the video and subscribe to Hidden Legends. Turn on notifications. We share stories of real heroes among us every day. Remember, the greatest heroes often work the most ordinary jobs. See you in the next Hidden Legends video.